First thing was how organized we was. And what I mean by that is when we departed from one place to another, we knew exactly where we were going. We knew who to follow. And we knew that because of the flag that we had. So everybody stayed together through, I don't care how many people were around, we always stayed together. And secondly was the maturity of the atmosphere in Washington, D.C. because we had 2 wheelchairs, of course, and everybody showed respect. And everybody said, excuse me, pardon me, there wasn't no fights or anything. And third was, of course, the inauguration of Barack Obama. And I was so blessed to be a part of that. And it was very, well, I can't even put the words together how blessed I am for being there. And thank you.
January 20th, 2009 was one of the most significant days in my life. I will never forget the feeling of knowing that I was a first-time voter and that I got to vote for the first African-American president of the United States. I will always remember this day and be able to share it with others so they can understand my experience. I was able to bond with people on this trip and bond with fellow Americans because the inauguration exposed me to more people than I have ever seen in one point coming together to embrace and support one person whose beliefs they shared.
During this trip, there were 3 very significant events, and the first would have to be being able to witness the inauguration of the first African-American president who I helped to be in office. The second would have to be being closer with my newly found extended family. These were people that I didn't really know, and some I did, but along this trip and the journey, we grew closer as a family. And the third would be enjoying each other's presence. Every moment we had together was a great moment. We laughed, we talked, just like a family. And those were very significant events of this trip.
This is Dr. Lila W. Frank. I am one of the assistant principals at Booker Washington High School and the Career Technical Education Coordinator for Macon County Schools. It is now time that I tell my story of 3 significant points from yesterday's inauguration. Firstly, spiritually, I felt that even though I could not see Mr. President-elect Barack Obama in person, I felt so strongly that it was wonderful to be able to see the inauguration and be on the same soil as the inauguration, and it taking place and history changing and me being part of that change. Secondly, I listened to the words of his inaugural address and his acceptance of his oath of office and the stating of the things that America had to do. The and using significance, as I stated earlier, is with regard to this speech, the inaugural address given by the new president of the United States of America. Mr. Obama used quite a few pronouns in his address, talking about we and us and how things can change because we will make those changes. Now, he's the leader of this country, and he has other persons in all walks of life or titles that will address the needs of America as America stands right now. It's also important for me to understand the words that were being spoken, that Mr. Barack Obama spoke in the inaugural address to the country. He was very poised. The words had such significant meaning to me. I enjoyed hearing the words. I was inspired by the words. And there I was, feeling my eyes fill with tears, not knowing ever that I would cry about it or be so emotional about it, even though I felt very spiritual about the idea that I would be in Washington, D.C. on the day that inauguration took place. Also of significance to me was the fact that there was an esprit de corps for this group going to Washington, while we were in Washington, D.C., and as we traveled away from Washington. All of us working together, esprit de corps. I saw the group take on the responsibility of persons who have minimal handicaps, but who took care of them as we walked, I'm estimating over 12 miles to the National Mall to hear that address, to see our new president receive his oath of office, and to see the vice president, of course, receive his oath of office. The significance of that day is so important. And in this group again, to have those members of the group to use their job-related skills to carry out what was necessary by any means possible. Nothing would have failed. God's plan for us to attend this, and maybe it was so much better because there were fewer people. Because I seriously doubt now that things would have happened had there been a bus load of people, because we had to rely on each other, and that was very important.
The significance of the inauguration was experience, acquaintance, and sacrifice. The experience that I experienced was seeing the 44th president being sworn in, the first African American. The acquaintance was to meet and greet a lot of people from Tuskegee that I had never met or seen before. And the sacrifice that we made, which was for time, and with the weather being so cold, we stayed out, say 6 or 7 hours in order to see the inauguration.